Hi guys, it's Krysta Phalen. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Today is just going to be a really laid back video kind of explaining some symptoms and where I'm at 40 weeks after last week's big surprise. So if you didn't watch my last week video, I highly encourage you to click over to my 39-week update. I will link it below. I had a big shock. I was doing my my whole birth experience in a birth center, very natural, and kind of last second I got transferred out because I became high risk, but we're not coming into agreement with that. So I wanted to give everybody an update on where I'm at now emotionally. That was obviously really hard to take in and become okay with, but I am much, much better now. I have fully accepted the way things are gonna go, and I'm in a really good place because I know that God is with me, and I know that however this birth experience turns out, it's gonna be okay. And honestly, you know, I'm gonna have my baby and it's gonna be okay. So I just want everyone to know, thank you for all the texts. Thank you for the comments and the shares and the messages. And it was just overwhelming the amount of support that everyone sent out. And it was amazing to know that I have people who really love me as much as you guys do. So thank you so much. That was really awesome. Okay, so a couple things that have changed this week. Anyone who knows me knows that I've been a vegan for 2 years. I've been a vegetarian for 5. And I used to be pretty cray-cray about it, like pretty intense. My family can vouch for that. Because of my blood platelets and because of the severity of my numbers dropping so low and having to be transferred to the hospital, my nutritionist highly recommended that I stop being stubborn for a week, 2 weeks, well, just depending on when the baby comes, and start eating red meat. He said it's one of the things that has been known to help my situation, and then he put me on a bunch of like natural supplements and things like that. So I thought about it, I cried about it, and I have decided that even if it doesn't work, it's worth a shot to make sure that I am safe, that the baby is safe, and that I don't leave my husband alone to raise our child, you know, and I don't leave Kendall alone to fend for herself. So for the past few days, I've been eating red meat, and I've been taking digestive enzymes and all of these things to help me. And so far I've been fine. My body hasn't like rejected it or anything. Mentally, I was a little bit kind of shaken by it, but then again, I'm not, because I don't care anymore. Like, I just want to get through this safely. And if that's what I have to do, then everyone can get over it. You know what I mean? Actually, everyone's been really cool. No one's like been a hater, but any vegans watching this, I'm sure you're like, no! Vegans are hardcore. Sorry about that. So with that being said, I get blood tests done every like 4 days. I've been getting so many blood tests in the past month. So we will find out if it's helping. We went to the doctor and he wasn't actually there. So it kind of sucks because I've only met the guy one time. This was supposed to be our like next visit to get to know him, and he was in surgery. So I've just given it to God at this point. I just, whatever. So they sent in a nurse, and she was awesome, and I wish she were my doctor, but they sent in this nurse. She was so nice. She answered all of my questions, you know, ridiculous and not ridiculous questions. And then she comes in, and this is what's absolutely astonishing. She comes in with my blood test, and she goes, oh, you know, your blood platelets were 76 the last time. Now they've jumped to like over 110 or 11 or some number that no longer leaves me in the danger zone. And so immediately I'm like, okay, so can I go back to my birth center? Like, that's immediately, I'm like, can I transfer back? This doesn't seem fair. What do you mean they went back up? What do you mean I got transferred because they got so low and now they're back up? And it's not because of eating meat, because I took the test before I started doing that. And so I just asked her, I'm like, please just be straight with me. And she said it would be absolutely silly to try to go back to the birthing center, that it's not safe, and that my numbers could plummet down the day of. And it's just not safe, and I get that. And honestly, that's what I needed to hear. So my blood platelets are on a roller coaster, but you know, whatever. We're praying that on the day of, they're really high so that my blood clots and everyone, you know, everything's safe. However, the annoying part is that she wants to, not her, but you know, in the medical field, they don't want you going over 41 weeks apparently. Maybe that's just my doctors, or I don't know. But she wants me to come in a day before I'm 41 weeks to talk about induction. And no, like I don't want to. I don't want to be induced. Because if I'm going to do this naturally at the hospital, then I can't be induced. Like that is, they're going to pump Pitocin in me immediately, not a natural birth. Or they could do the balloon or whatever. I don't know all the things that they do, but all I've heard, this is crazy actually. I had a friend text me and she said, I highly recommend that you go as long as you can and don't let them induce you. And I'm like, why? So she explains it and just said that it was harder and she regretted it. And since then, I have had numerous women come up to me and say, try to hold out, God's timing, you know, do not let them induce you. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So we're gonna have to go in there and like fight them on this thing, because they were telling me like all these statistics about how it's so unsafe to go past 41 weeks. And I mean, I can't even remember everything she told me, but she said there's like all these relevant studies that say going over 41 weeks is really dangerous. And I mean, I don't know, I don't really buy it. Like I literally have talked to so many women who have been like, oh yeah, I was 10 days late. Oh, I was 2 weeks late. I was X amount of days late. My mom was 2 weeks late with every single one of us. And then she had to be induced, I'm pretty sure, with every single one of us. So I'm like, God, please send me into labor literally at any point. I don't care. Like just, before I was like, I don't want the baby's birthday close to Halloween. I don't care. Let's just do this thing. Like I don't care. I just want to go into labor naturally because I want to give my body the opportunity of getting this baby out quickly and as easily as possible. You know, I don't want to force my body to do this thing when I can't even get an epidural. Like, and I don't want one. Oh my gosh. It's so funny because I'm not even stressed out. It's just like this huge moment, this huge day is around the corner, and it just feels like it's never gonna get here. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's too good to be true at this point. So anyways, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm just gonna tell them, like, my doula said ask them for an NST. What does that stand for? A non-stress test. I think that's what she said. And see if they'll let me push it. And so that's what I'm gonna do. With all that being said, the baby has not flipped over. He's still on the wrong side. They don't care though. They're like, whatever. But the midwife said that you have a shorter birth if the baby is positioned perfectly. So I'm still praying that the baby flips and that he drops. I do not think he's dropped. Like he still seems so high. I don't feel that like pressure down there that I'm supposed to be feeling. So yeah, I mean, I've been walking. I gotta up my game on the walking and the everything, you know, all the stuff that you gotta do. Another thing the nurse told me, that my blood test showed that I have really bad thyroid something or other. But we don't know if it's because of pregnancy or if it's actually something I've had before that. So they wanted to put me on all this medicine and I'm like, no, not until I find out if it's because of pregnancy or not. But she did say because of the anemia, because of the thyroid, because of all this stuff, it could cause extreme exhaustion. So I don't know if I've been super tired lately because of all of those things, or if because I'm, 40 weeks pregnant, I'm exhausted. But I'm exhausted. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm so tired. It doesn't matter at this point how much sleep I get. I'm freaking tired. Like, so tired. I want to have energy again. My appetite has gone from a normal person's appetite to a 900-pound man's appetite. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm like, legit, I've never eaten so much food in my whole lifetime. And it's not, I don't eat all day, which is what's weird. I eat, 3 meals a day, just like normal. But when I eat, like, I have to order big portions because I'm starving when I eat, and I eat all of it. So I'm sure I'm gonna gain like 7,000 pounds. It's so funny because I made it to like, you know, 40 pounds at 40 weeks or 40 pounds at 39 weeks. And I was like, yes, I did so good. I'm literally gonna gain 20 pounds if this baby doesn't come out. I'm gonna be that girl that gained 60 pounds because I'm eating so much. I'm so swollen. I don't even wanna talk about my feet. I don't even wanna talk about my feet. I am gonna post some pictures, some absolutely humiliating pictures of my hands and my feet. My foot doesn't look like it should be on my body. Like I look at my, like right now, guys, seriously, I don't know whose foot that is. I have no ankles. My ankles are almost bigger than my foot at this point. Oh my gosh. I also have carpal tunnel in the middle of the night. My fingers like click shut and then they like click open and they're so fat when my husband tries to hold my hand. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so swollen. My whole calf is swollen and I wasn't like this until this week. I mean, I was perfectly fine. So now I just really need this baby to come out because wow, I've been super grouchy and like moody and snappy and everybody get away from me because I might rip your head off if you act crazy. My husband, I don't know how he's been dealing with it, but we've been like bickering a lot this week because I have an attitude problem, like straight up, I have an attitude problem. And like a lot of times he's gracious, but sometimes he just straight up like forgets like that I am as pregnant as I am. And he doesn't understand that like, I know I'm not myself because I have no patience. I am grouchy. I am moody. I get a bad attitude and it's quick. And last but not least, my sciatic nerve pain is kicking back in. In Jesus' name, I rebuke you. Satan, get behind me. But it has been coming back and it has been hurting. Not into it. That was, I think I've said this before, but that was one of the worst symptoms of the whole 9-month process was the sciatic nerve pain. So that can go burn in hell. What else? And that's all I've got. You know, that's all I've got. I had a really strong Braxton Hicks contraction this week. It was like really strong, kind of freaked me out. Thought I was going into labor, was so excited that maybe I was or could be, but I didn't. It was the strongest one I felt so far. So that's cool. But this is all I've got to say for this week. So I love you guys. I bless you guys. Jesus, bless everyone watching this video. Just give them a rock awesome week, God. Just encounter them and show them your love. So this Oompa Loompa needs to go to bed. Okay? So, bye guys. Oh, and my face is swollen. And everything is probably swollen. My wrists are swollen. Everything. Everything that I got on this body be swollen. But I don't have any stretch marks. Hey.